One of the things that I've been working on, and I need to discuss it at full length, is what I consider torque in the vestibular system, which means that your system should be able to twist. Now, whether it's obvious with crossing midline, throwing a punch, even pointing. Pointing is really a twist of the system, not just the fingers going like this. And it can be very easily looked at of how it's affecting just how the head sits on the system. I'm seeing more and more that the vestibular system, specifically the torque, has trauma to it. Now, it could be something that was maybe never developed properly, or there was trauma. It could have been a car accident, something as obvious. And I would also like to say, trauma is different for each person. Some people can be in a 5-car pileup and walk away. It doesn't faze them. Other people miss one step and their life is just totally changed. They're with the back trauma, the pain that they're suddenly in. Trauma is trauma, but we're still human beings. It affects us each differently. So one of the things that gets really lost in with this torque, not only how the head sits on the spine, but how the chest rotates around the spine. What happens with a lot of people is that the lower back is sometimes doing too much work because of the lack of mobility through the upper area, or it's not doing enough work in the upper areas doing the work. Lots of times it's just an uneven process versus being more organized and everybody having a little bit of say into it. And that's basically what this is showing the system how to have a say in it as we go along. If I move her head a little bit off to the left, which I'm doing, again, it's not a forceful move, it's just a nice smooth move, but I'm looking to see how her shoulder blades and her ribs and vertebrae participate in the movement. If they weren't participating, she wouldn't be able to move her head easily over to the left, and that's what happens to people. I can look to the right just fine, I can't look to the left, or vice versa. And they think it's just the mobility in the head and the neck issue, and it's really, it's a global process through the system, but the chest and the upper back have to participate. So when I'm able to get someone where the spine is starting to bend nicely, to come in here and actually start working on that upper torque or twist into the system. And if you're wondering how that affects you or not, sit in your car today and slowly turn the head up, like if you were looking to the roof of the car, and see, with the seatbelt on and stuff, if that's a free-flowing movement. Look over your right shoulder as if you were looking back to traffic. Do this while you're parked. You don't even have to be engaged in driving. Look over to the left, look over to the right. See how much you actually function when driving, and see the world around you. And you'll start to notice how what I've been talking about, that the issues of mobility doesn't necessarily have to be pain, affect you. And now put your hands on the steering wheel and do the same process. And you'll see even more so how you can be limited in mobility. If you do something like this, it doesn't matter if the hands are on the steering wheel or not, because of the conversation that's able to have in your back that just wasn't present before. And even with this now, how I can move the neck. Now, I haven't worked on the left side in the sense of rotating it, the system, this way. Yes, I've worked on the left side in the back, but I've worked more on the right side on the upper chest. But you can see how just moving the head, even the wrists are floating. If her wrist were taut, it would affect the movement. And this is the part that feels really good when you see, where you're able to feel how well your system is moving, that you haven't felt in a long